Alright, today we are gonna install the cold air intake system onto the Jeep Wrangler JK. So I don't know, they say it increases horsepower but at like 5,000 RPM, so I pretty much never drive at 5,000 RPMs. Alright, so yes, let me just see what's in the box. Watch out, chicken. Hose. Let's see, hardware. Instructions. This is the heat shield cover and my pipe plus the filter itself. Alright, I guess we should start with the instructions. Did come with these couple stickers. Put them aside. Again, it says horsepower guaranteed. That may be true, but I'm not expecting much. Ultimately, I'm just kind of hoping it sounds better. Got our specs. Again, I think it's measured at super high RPM, which I rarely do. And shoot, looks like they got somewhat decent instructions for instructions these days. So step one, turn off the ignition. Alright, I'm going to remove the engine cover, remove these screws, start taking out the old one. Alright, we're going to remove this. Start by taking off our cover. And we're going to remove these two bolts and take a 10mm socket. Remove these two like that. Pull that out. I'm going to loosen this clamp, this clamp. I'm going to loosen both of those with a 5/16 or a 8mm. Pull this off here and there. Flip this over. Just going to press down here and pull it out. Set this aside. Get that out of the way. Except I want to disconnect this hose. Kind of twist it back and forth. Just work it off of there. That side. Then it says lift up and remove the old air filter housing. It is not screwed in, it's just sort of popped in there with some clips. Broke them loose. So I want to just pull it out. And it went there with these plastic studs into here. Next step was to loosen and remove this bolt, which I did. The next step is to loosen and remove this bolt right back here. Both are 10mm like we used earlier. And I have removed that one. It's got a larger washer and is longer than the one from over here. We got that removed. Now we're going to start prepping the new one with our bag of hardware. So I'm going to take these two little mounting stud pieces, mount them onto the bottom of the heat shield. Alright, up to here the instructions have been pretty good, but here it is a little vague. Just says to put them together. It's not pre-assembled. It doesn't really tell you which bolts and whatnot are which, but I think what we're looking at is these two. We're going to attach this here like that, and it looks like we're using these slightly longer ones. There are two shorter ones in the packet I think we use later. So for now I'm going to start by attaching these two. I just got it kind of hand tied. Got the other one on there, and I did go into the slightly longer end here. This part's slightly shorter. This is what attaches to the heat shield with these. So looking at the bottom of the heat shield, mount this like that with our, like that. Just got it loosely on for now. I put this one on. Okay, got that one on too. I'm going to snug them up a little bit, but I'm not going to tighten them fully yet. I'm using again the 10 socket. Ideally you would have a wrench for the other side. I'm just holding it with the little channel locks. That was closer. Now I've got them stiffer, but I can still maneuver them around a little bit to get them in the final position that I want. Alright, going back to this next step, we're going to install the filter adapter onto the heat shield. Guess it goes this way. Hey, what you doing over there? So yeah, instructions are a little vague. Again, I'm not sure exactly what screws to use. I'm going to use these Allen headed ones with these larger washers. I'm just going to line up these holes like that. And I got it fitted on like that. Dug out a tool, the Allen head, snugged those up. Didn't seem to come with a little cheapo tool. This is just one long strip. It's not pre-cut, so we got to cut it into 3 sections: 6-inch long, 7-inch long, and 22. So I'm gonna go get a tape measure and some kind of marker and a good cutter. It's kind of thick here. I don't know if you can cut it with scissors. I use these dikes. Black Sharpie on the black might not be the best. That's the first thing I saw. Measure out 6 inches. Mark it. Cut it. What's going on in here? Good grief. I heard that. Thank you. Got my 6-inch one cut. Measure out 1 to 7. Mark that. And we'll cut. The second one done. See how close this is to 22. Just a hair long, so we're going to cut off about 1/2 inch. And we should be good there. And we got these cut. So we're going to take the 6-inch piece and put it on here. It actually does go on tighter and better than I expected. My cut was surprisingly cleaner than theirs, so I put theirs on the bottom. Put this 7-inch one here on this side. I'm going to take the top or lid and run it along here. So we got it like that. And we're going to place the heat shield assembly down here where these two studs fit in there. I'm going to drop it in and see what position they need to be in and pull it out and snug them up. So mine lines up pretty good like that. I'm just going to tighten these down. Okay, so I got that set into place. Before we put the other bracket on, they say to go ahead and get the filter. We're going to unbox our filter. Clamp's already loose. Just going to slide this on here. That on. I'm going to snug it up with either an 8mm or a 5/16 socket. Then we're going to what? Install the provided rubber mounted set onto the heat shield bracket. So I've got this piece, and I guess I'll find the screw I guess it's this one, the shorter one. I'm going to put it through here, thread it on that. I'm going to take this and with the original bolt we removed from the radiator bracket on a 10mm socket. And put this bolt, this bracket here, and it should somehow line up with this hole. Okay, so I'm threading this radiator support back in. My bracket down there. That one tightened up. Loosened this one so I could move this back a little bit, and now it looks like we are lining up pretty good. Just tighten this here. I'll put my nut and washer on this side. Tighten that one up like that. Take another rubber mounted stud and install it here where we removed the other factory bolt earlier. Looks like we then install this piece on here using another little bolt and washer, something like that. Didn't fully tighten it yet because I'm sure I will have to maneuver it around to align whatever's next. Now it looks like we're just going to secure the lid with some other Allen head bolts and washers to these spots. So we'll just have to line this hole up and then probably tighten everything down. Alright, now we got the housing in place. We're going to put our boots on. So I'm going to take the first boot. I'm going to take the one with the hump to put on the air cleaner. And I'm going to get 2 clamps. Put our 2 clamps on. Slid my boot over there. I'm just going to tighten this side. And take the other stubby boot, slide it onto the throttle body, and I'll tighten up my clamp. Got that one tightened down. Just slip my other one on in anticipation for our connector. Alright, so now I'm going to take my tube and take my plastic elbow fitting. I'm going to install it on the underside right here. Tighten it until this is roughly at this position. Let's say about like that. Don't really want to over tighten it and break it, so I just got it to where it's pretty tight. Take this other hose it came with and put it on there like that. I'm going to take the inlet air sensor off of the original one. Okay, again, it's just the instructions with remove the sensor. Caution, it's fragile. Of course it is. It's a little plastic piece. Inside it looks kind of delicate. You stare at it, there's this little pin. I just used a flathead to push it up so that you can push it past this tab counterclockwise. Once you get that tab open, you can just gently twist it like maybe a quarter turn, and then I guess it just pulls out. Okay, I did have to use both hands. Ultimately there was that tab I lifted up on to get it past this little notch. And then I just twisted it about a quarter turn. And it naturally did stop, and I just sort of had to wiggle it and pull it. And it did come free. I was terrified I was going to break it, but it came out. We're going to take this grommet, shove it in here. So I put the grommet in here like that. I guess you just shove this in but it does say to remove the O-ring. Okay, well, I had to go find a teeny screwdriver to get this O-ring off. It was pretty tight on there. Now I got it removed, and now I guess we just push this down in here like that. So I want to force it down to where the old ring would be inside the grommet now. So I think we're good here. Next it says to prep these little brackets to hold it on the overflow hose in the front. I'm gonna take this barbed end and shove it into the hole right here. And then we'll have these like that. It says to secure them with the hardware provided, but I don't see any more bolts or screws, so I'm going to use these two. And we'll just tighten them into position like that. I believe we'll just put our hose here. Something like that. Take our snips, cut off the excess. And then finally, we're going to put our tube in place before we jam this in here. We will plug our sensor connector back in like that, and we will slide this into the tube, into our boot, and we'll get it into position like that. Then I'll just tighten my other two clamps here and here. Alright, we got those two clamps tightened, and I think we're all put back together here. I'm going to take this hose off, and then we'll just connect this hose to it right here. Then I think we'll just put the engine cover plastic piece back on, and we should be set. Might as well start it up just to see if there is any noticeable sound difference. Alright, put it in position. Watch out, chicken. Yeah, I mean, I might have to just actually drive it, see, but... Like I said, when am I ever going to go 5,000 RPM? But, yeah, I guess it's in. We'll drive it, see how it goes.